Hey everybody, so I just wanted to do a video and talk about kind of my chronic illness and go over some things maybe others have questions on, or just about things in general when you're dealing with a chronic condition. As you can see, I'm laying here in bed. I haven't made a video in a while because I haven't been up to wanting to get dressed, and I've been having a lot more pain this week than previously before because I was sitting down on the computer and it caused me to have some issues, but hopefully next week I will be better after I lay here in bed for several days. First of all, living with a chronic illness is truly debilitating and hard to deal with because you're constantly alone and you constantly lose touch of everybody and yourself. For me, it's been kind of hard because the person I used to be was not like this person. I used to get dressed every day. I used to wear high heels. I used to take my kids to school. I used to be able to cook, wash clothes, have a job, do normal things in life. But after some time, I was not able to do those things. And slowly, I started having complications that led me unable to get up in the morning. I was extremely tired, fatigued. I was very restless. I felt dizzy all the time, and I kept telling, like the people in my house, like, oh, I'm feeling dizzy all the time. Or I had fainted at work one time during a surgery on someone else. It was kind of crazy, and I just kept blowing these things off, saying, maybe, I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I didn't eat something that I was supposed to. Maybe I drank something I wasn't supposed to. And I kept disregarding it because they kept going to the doctor and they kept telling me everything's fine. Your blood's fine. You look normal. You look like a normal person. You look healthy. Everything looks fine. You're okay. But inside, I was having these constant pains and facial spasms, and my feet felt like they were on fire, and I couldn't digest any food. As soon as I would eat, I would vomit it up, and food would stay in my stomach for days, and my stomach would get extremely bloated. I couldn't see for a while. My vision was gone, and I kept returning to the doctor, the emergency room, over and over. And everybody kept telling me, nothing's wrong with you. But inside, I knew something was wrong because I was in pain every single day. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, and I was getting dizzy. And all these things were occurring, and everybody kept telling me that they were nothing. So I kept not listening until that one day I couldn't get out of bed and I could not function. I was not able to walk anymore. And at that time, I knew that it was so severe that I had let it get out of control. And I let the doctors continue to tell me that it wasn't true. And still, when I was not walking, doctors started telling me, are you sure you have nothing wrong? You need to see a psychiatrist. I had even the person I was with in a relationship, they were talking to me, asking me if I was okay, or if I was too stressed out, and maybe I was overreacting. But over time, my family started to see that I was not being able to get out of bed really ever. I was in a wheelchair to be, put in the car, and if I could get up, I would, because I have never been the type of person to want to lay down and be lazy. I am a total person that got up super early, got dressed, looked super dressed up. All my friends, when we would do surgery, they would come in all crazy at work, and I would always be the one. They would say, God, how do you have time to put on your eyelashes and put on makeup at 5 o'clock in the morning? Everybody's doing surgery and you're the only one totally beautified in order to be here at work. So that was the kind of individual I was. I wouldn't go outside without makeup. I was totally planning my day to look great, every day. But chronic illness does take that away from you. And dealing with that and, having to be in a wheelchair and people to rely on to bring you things and not being able to do things for your children and having your children do things for you, it was really embarrassing. And my family started seeing that I wasn't playing and it wasn't in my mind. It was actual real pain. So after multiple doctors I got a lot of MRIs, a lot of surgery, a lot of MRI, CTs, x-rays, you name it, I got it. Acupuncture, holistic healing, energy healers, herb healing, meditation, hypnotized therapy, therapist. I said, well, maybe it's something in my past. I don't know, because the doctors are telling me it's all these things. So I'm clearing everything. Everything is clearing out. And this thing is still not going away. So I started looking at my symptoms on the internet, and I started seeing that, there was a girl who had similar symptoms like me. And I was like, wow, maybe I have this mast cell thing. Like, oh God, I know. And this is a mast cell activation syndrome I had been dealing with since probably my teenage years. It's an issue where I get red like I am now, and it's kind of hard to breathe, but it was getting to the point to where I couldn't control my temperature on my body. If I took a bath, it would make me extremely tired. I couldn't go outside and things like that, but it was extremely bad at this time in my life. And I couldn't manage it either because it was really overwhelming. It was causing my throat to close up, and all the doctors kept saying, you can't have anything wrong. It's just, you're just having a reaction to something. It's maybe a histamine issue. Maybe it's something you're eating. Maybe it's stress. And the more I looked into this, mast cell activation syndrome, I found a doctor who took some tests, and he said, your markers are normal, but that doesn't mean you cannot have it, because from what I see, you are having these reactions. And I have all these pictures that I had showed him and videos of me having these actual symptoms because nobody was listening to me. And I even asked another doctor, a primary doctor, a gastroenterologist that I was going to, did she think I could have this mast cell thing? And she said, no, that is too rare. You could never have that. That is too rare. And I was like, okay. And the person I was with at the doctor's office was like, see, I told you, you cannot have that. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess it is rare. But after finding out about mast cell and actually finding that I did have it, then I started to think more. I was watching these other videos about mast cell, and it said that it was linked to POTS, dysautonomia, and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So I had seen some doctors, and they had said, yes, you do have POTS, you do have, this dysautonomia, mast cell thing. And so I started thinking, what if I have EDS? And what made me started thinking I had that was a doctor I had went to, a neurologist. He had said that I had pinched nerves on both sides of my neck, and also I had carpal tunnel, and that my wrist could turn all the way around. And he said he'd never seen that before, and that my spine was having degeneration. He asked me if I was a construction worker or any kind of activities like that where I picked up heavy stuff, because my spine looked like I had put a lot of stress on it. And I was like, no, I don't do hard work labor ever. I've never done anything like that. So then it made me start researching about EDS because it was linked to all these things. So I got on the computer and I started searching, and I asked another doctor, do you think I could have EDS? And they said, oh no, that is so rare. That's like a circus freak disease, and you could never have that. And again, the person I was around said, see, you're overreacting. You're just reading too much stuff off the internet. Obviously, I wasn't, because I knew at that time I had to get to the bottom of it, because a rheumatologist I went to, she said, yes, you have Raynaud's, you have POTS, mast cell, all these things. And she said, I think you just have fibromyalgia. So she told me to go home and walk more. The more I walked, the worse I got. I was to where I could not even stay laying like sideways or anything. I had to lay extremely flat. I was sleeping on the floor in my house because even my bed was bothering me. I tried physical therapy, like they said, and started taking all these medications to numb my brain so I wouldn't be thinking of what was going on in my life. And I was still in pain. These medications did not numb the pain that was inside of my body. So then I told her on a checkup, I said, do you think I have EDS? She said, if you do, there's no point in looking for resources because there's nothing you can do about it. Nobody can help you. And at that point, I knew that that was something I had to try to figure out. So I looked online and I found a doctor an hour away from me who deals with fibromyalgia and EDS. And I was like, aha, this is somewhere I should go. And setting up the appointment, I had to pay cash. Unfortunately, they didn't take insurance, and my insurance was not going to cover it. But my family gave me money and said, you know what, whatever you need to do, we need to do this. It's already been a year, and you're not getting better, and nothing's working for you. So we went, and I seen her, and I went to the appointment. Well, before I went to the appointment, I had to see if I could see a geneticist from my insurance company. And when I called, they told me I would be on a 1.5-year waiting list. What the heck is that? A 1.5-year waiting list when you cannot even walk, you can't take your kids to school, you cannot work, and somebody's telling you a 1.5 years till you think you could figure out what's wrong with me? I couldn't take that. So my family and I found this doctor, and I had made an appointment, and the visit was like maybe a month out, and I went, and she told me when she looked at me and my skin and, you know, the stretching and the symptoms that I had were all linked to having EDS. Either I had hypermobile, or she believed I had classical. And at that moment, when I saw this doctor and she told me that she knew what I had, it was the most wonderful moment that I've had in my life. Like, somebody really listened to me, and I was right. I am not crazy. I was not just having all these pains in my head, and I did not just need narcotics to be passed out all day for the rest of my life, because I was not going to stand for that. And when she acknowledged me and that I did have that disease, and she, you know, there's not very much you can do for EDS, but the things that she did give me have helped me to cope better in life, to not give up. Because at that time when that doctor told me that, it made me crushed. It made me feel hopeless. Like, I'm going to stay like this forever? What am I going to do? I can't live like this. Do you think the person that I'm with is going to stay with me forever like this? I can't even get out of bed. And what if something happens? How am I supposed to take care of myself? If the person I'm with leaves me, if I cannot manage to take care of my children anymore, I don't have any money to do any of this. You know, like, I was thinking of all these things that were driving me literally insane. And I was sick at the time. So it was very difficult. Being with a chronic disease and then nobody knows what to do for you and nobody's helping you, it makes you just want to give up. And after I met her and I found these things out that helped me better to cope with my life, and, you know, I've been seeing her for some time now lately, it was a life-altering experience for me. You know, every day is tough and hard, and some days I get knocked down and I don't want to get back up, but I do, and I want to talk to others out there that are like me, you might have a disease or something wrong with you and nobody's listening, but there are other ways around it to figure it out, because all the doctors you go to do not know everything. They are not just the most educated person to know your body. You are. And don't go home not thinking that, oh, he said I have nothing, it must be nothing. No, if you are in pain and you are going through these things, you should search for things. The doctor I saw, she was a geneticist, so usually there are tests that will determine if you have a genetic disease. If it's not showing up, it don't even show up, some of it, in your regular blood work. So I just wanted to make this video to you guys and let y'all know that there are other options, and don't just give up. I'm also going to do a video about Lyme disease. I saw that a lot of people that are going through complications like me, they believe that we had Lyme disease, or we have Lyme disease. So I'll do another video on that, since I've seen a lot of videos about people who have Lyme disease and they don't know how to treat it. And I've kind of gone to many doctors and gone through many things in my experience, and I really want to help others. And I apologize for the mess of the way I look, but this is my new life for right now, temporary, until I regain who I was. But I'll be there again, and I'm still fighting every day with a chronic disease. But I want others out there to know that I don't want you to give up. And if you do have a problem, or you think something's wrong with you and nobody's listening, send me a message, and I could probably look into your information and we can go over some things, and I can help you find what you need or who you need to go to, and find out resources, because there should be some that you could, look into. And don't give up, because I know every day is tough and it is hard. But I just want you to know out there that there are other people like you, and I'm one of them, and I never thought I would be one of them. But I would love to help others to overcome their barriers, because that's where God has placed me at this time, and I have to share my story, because we all go through things for a reason. Until next time, if you have any questions, send me a message and I'll send you some information back if I have any on it. Thanks for listening.